Hi everyone, this is actually take 2 of me trying to sit down and film this video today. I was supposed to film this morning, I was up with the birds, just start as you mean to go on. I was definitely motivated, and then I walked into my filming room and completely forgot that I no longer have any curtains or a blind up in front of my window, and I am sat directly in front of the window. Let's just say filming in natural light is not my forte. It's gonna need some practice, and I didn't have the time today, so I knocked it on the head and decided to wait until the sun went down. So take 2, here we are. I have brand new products to try from Revolution, L'Oreal, Elf, NYX as well. Super excited. We're gonna get straight on with it. If you are new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new content on YouTube every single week. I would love it if at some point in this video you would consider coming and joining the Pampered Wolf Pack by clicking on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. So I've just caught a glimpse of myself in the monitor and realised that I look like one of those little baby girls that has no hair and their mum wants to make them look a little bit more girly, so they shove a bow on their head. This is not a good look for me, but I am going to rock it for the remainder of this video. We're going to start off with a brand new product from Revolution Pro. This is the Ultimate Radiant Colour Corrector. Now, I am a little bit concerned about the colour of this. I think this only comes in 3 different shades. So you've got a green, you've also got a purpley colour, and you have one that is called orange. I don't think this is going to be the right colour for me, although I love an orange colour corrector. Just got a feeling this is going to be too deep. This sort of shade is usually for those with a medium to deep skin tone, and that's definitely not me. So yeah, it's deep. Look at that. That is so deep. Usually I go for ones that are a little peachier than this, and I'm surprised that they don't have 2 different shades within this colour to choose from, because usually they are really good with shade selection at Revolution Pro. So I'm going to be really careful with the amount of product that I actually apply underneath my eye, because I don't want to overdo it and then it'd be really difficult to blend out. So I'm just taking my BK Beauty 207 brush and I'm dabbing that on. It is really deep. I mean, this would be no good for me if I was wearing a concealer over the top with very little coverage. You know, if you just want to cover a little bit up, but not masses. It would not cover this orange. I mean, there's no way. It feels nice on the skin. It's going on very much like the Radiant Creamy concealer that they have, which is such an amazing concealer. So this has definitely neutralized the purpley bluey tones underneath my eyes. Unfortunately, it has replaced the bluey purple with a tangerine hue. I mean, this isn't even a hue, is it? This is like I've been punched in the face by 1,000,000 Satsumas. I'm not sure what to do with this now. I do not know if my concealer is going to cover up the orange. I'm slightly skeptical, but we are going to try. And even if this doesn't cover over the orange underneath my eyes, I will still keep this. I reckon it will be really good for covering over bruises, and if all else fails, it will be great for Halloween, because this is 10 shades of scary right now. So there are a couple of really positive points to this that I'm seeing already. One, it's super pigmented, as you can see, and that will be great for if you have a medium to deep skin tone. You now have the choice of a colour corrector that is so super pigmented you need the tiniest pinprick amount, and it goes such a long way. And because of that, because you've hardly applied any of the product, it feels like you have no product on underneath the eye. It sinks in pretty much immediately and it doesn't feel drying. It actually feels really, really nice, and it still looks like skin. So this is the product that I am so super excited about. If you've followed me for quite some time, you will know that the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil was my favourite tinted moisturiser for summer use. I mean, I loved that stuff, and then they decided to discontinue it. Be still my beating heart. Anyway, I'm hoping that this is going to be a great alternative for it. This is the NYX Bear With Me Blur. This is the Blurring Tint Foundation. I've gone for the shade 04 Light Neutral, and you get 1.01 fluid ounces or 30 mils worth of product. So this feels a little bit stiffer on the back of my hand than the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil. It's slightly thicker. It's holding its shape. It doesn't feel extremely loose. However, we'll see how it applies. It's got a lot more coverage already than the tinted skin veil, but it feels very nice so far, and it's sinking into the skin really nicely. And it's definitely blurring. You can see here around my pores that they look way more diffused than on this side of my skin, where I can see every single pore around my cheek area. I am really disappointed that I couldn't film this morning. I was up at 6:30 and thought I'd get this filmed by sort of 9 o'clock-ish. I would be done, and then I would be able to wear this for the entire day and do some check-ins for everybody. But with the build going on, that is becoming more and more difficult to do those types of videos. So I will put a pinned comment at the top of the comment section for you to let you know how this wore, and I'll have plenty of time to keep on using it throughout the week before this video goes live. So do check out the pinned comment at the top of the comment section. I mean, it looks lovely at the minute. You can still see some imperfections poking through this, which I actually quite like. I do like my skin to look like skin. But let's have a look at this little blemish here. You can see how red that is. Let's see how well that covers with a little bit of this foundation. Look at that. That's one layer and one very light layer. So the coverage of this is pretty decent, and the weight is nothing. Doesn't feel like anything on the skin at all. This is a lot more mattifying than I was expecting, but not in a bad way. I like natural matte foundations. I don't like anything too flat. I don't think this is flat, but it's not got that luminous matte finish either. I suppose that's why it's quite a blurring foundation, because it takes all the shine away from your skin, which you could add back in with a little bit of a setting spray or a fine hydrating mist. But at the moment, I quite like it. So now I've got one layer of the foundation on. I'm just going to see if I can build it up a little bit. Remember this blemish here that you can still see poking through? Let's just see if this is buildable coverage. I would say that's a yes. It hasn't covered it completely, but it's pretty much covered. I'm really quite impressed with this. It doesn't feel tight on my skin at all. It's not clinging to the dry areas underneath my mouth. I mean, there is a slight bit of texture there where my dryness is, but I think I would have that regardless of what foundation I got on my skin. I quite like it. I am really excited to wear this again tomorrow and see how long this wears for and how it feels after a few hours wear. Okay, so I've done my brows. I've also whacked a bit of eyeshadow on my lids. I didn't have any new products to try in those areas, so I thought I'd do that off camera. I'm going to be trying the brand new e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer. I know this has been around for a while now. I'm a bit late to the game. I wasn't a huge fan of the original putty bronzers, as I wasn't a big fan of the original putty blushes, but when the Luminous Putty blushes came out last year, I absolutely loved them. So I'm hoping I'm going to feel the same about this, although this goes on a larger expanse than the Luminous Putty blushes. So I'm hoping this isn't going to be too sparkly and take away from that airbrushed effect that this foundation is giving my skin. And I've had my hand rested on my skin and none of this is lifted so far, so I'm actually quite impressed. I've only had it on for a hot minute, but we can hope that my feelings stay the same by the end of the day. I never really know what brush to use with these sorts of products. I've reached for my REPHR 17 brush, which is a really flat packing brush. I'm layering this up on the bristles of the brush, but then taking a bit off, although is that even on there? Doesn't feel like it's picking up a lot of product. Maybe I need to swirl. Then, oh yes, here we go. Now tapping that on the back of my hand. Oh, that looks nice. And then I'm going to go in on the forehead and then blend that out. The colour of this is perfect. It's slightly on the more cooler toned edge rather than super, super warm. There is a bit of a bronzy vibe in there, but it's not orangey. Now this is looking completely different in the monitor as it's looking in the mirror in front of me. In the mirror, it looks really seamless, but I'm not quite sure if it's the lights that I have in front of me that's making it look patchy on the monitor, or whether it's that metallic sheen because it is a luminous product and it's more metallic, I find, this bronzer than the luminous putty blushes. Maybe it's because I've just got it on a larger area, I don't know. But it's looking way more perfected in my mirror than on screen. I'm going to do the rest of it and see if we can play around with it a little bit. That looks really nice. I think my problem is that it's caught up in the little baby hairs that I have on my face. And that's where it looks a little patchy on camera, whereas it doesn't really look patchy in real life. Maybe that's just what it is. I don't know. I really don't. I've never had that issue before where it looks better in my mirror than it does on screen. Usually it's the other way around. I do think that this luminous putty bronzer would look slightly less muddled if I decided to wear a less mattifying foundation. If I was wearing something slightly more luminous on the rest of my skin as well, I don't think you would notice a difference. But because there's quite a big contrast, I think that's probably why we're getting what looks like a bit of patchiness on the forehead, because when the lights shine it, all you're getting is that sheen in the areas where I've placed the bronzer and nowhere else. So it just looks a little odd. Let's cover up this tangerine mess underneath my eyes and we'll see if it looks a bit better. So hopefully this high coverage concealer will do its job and cover absolutely everything and just perfect things a little bit. This is the brand new Revolution IRL Filter Finish Soft Matte Concealer. I've gone for the shade C4. Hopefully that will be a match for me. I wasn't keen on the foundation in this range, but I'm keeping all fingers crossed for this and hoping that it doesn't make my under eyes look super, super dry and really heavy and cakey. I already love this applicator. Look how lovely that is. I bet that is going to really hug the under eye contours so beautifully. I'm not one to apply concealer directly underneath my eyes, but if I was, I would really enjoy using that. And there's quite a bit of give in it as well, so yeah, I think that is really cleverly done. I am going to apply it on the back of my hand though and go in with my finger, which is my application method of choice. Just tap that in a little bit. Already looks like this is going to be the perfect match for me. Keeping all fingers crossed, everybody, fingers crossed. I'm not even going to look in the monitor. I daren't. Is this covering up the orange? Please tell me it is. I've hardly applied any product whatsoever. Let's just add a layer of this and hope for the best. It does feel nice though. What's it look like, everybody? Okay, so it's not covered up the orange, which is what I expected. We are going to have to put another layer on this, which defeats the object for me of having a colour corrector. If you're using a colour corrector, you should only have to apply one layer of concealer, because I have a feeling that this concealer is really high coverage, and 2 layers of this concealer would be all I needed anyway to probably cancel out my under eye circles. I like the concealer. I like the texture of the concealer. It's really silky smooth. It's drying down really nicely, but giving a bit of a slip on the surface. It's silky, silky smooth. And it's got good coverage. So my first impressions of this concealer are extremely good. I know I didn't like the foundation, but I'm warming to this pretty much immediately. The feel of this on the skin is very pleasant. It's slightly heavier than my Ride or Die Lancome All Over Concealer, but it feels the same on the skin. It's got that silky finish. I know this is supposed to be matte, but it is a soft matte. It's not a flat matte. It's more, I wouldn't say natural matte. I don't think this looks natural, but it looks beautiful. I like this at the moment. It can flip so quickly with a concealer. It all depends on how it wears throughout the day and whether it's going to crease for me, but it has sank in and dried down really quickly. Is there a scent to this? I don't think there is. No, there definitely isn't. It smells like paint. So, you know, you wouldn't put that in as a fragrance, so I'm guessing there's no fragrance or essential oils in there. And there's also no fragrance or essential oils in the NYX Bear With Me Blur. I think that looks nice. And I think it would look even nicer had I not had to put a couple of layers of this on to cover over the orange. So next time I will try this without the colour corrector to see how that looks and how it feels. So I've just added a little bit of eyeshadow to that lower lash line to add a bit more dimension back into the look. I'm curling my lashes, which for me is incredibly important. Nobody can tell me that it's all about mascara. A lot of the time it's about lash prep. Look at the difference between these two. I mean, there's no product on my lashes whatsoever. One has been curled, one hasn't. It's a huge, huge difference. But that brings me perfectly into this next product because it's caused so much controversy. This is the brand new Telescopic Lift Mascara from L'Oreal. I'm really, really interested to see if this is worth all the hype that it's been getting on TikTok and Instagram. Firstly, I noticed that the wand is right up my street. It's more of a silicone-based wand, which should grab every single lash. We will see. There's more of a flat side and then a slightly more curved side. Let's go in and see whether this is worth all it's cracked up to be. See, my lashes are curled so much, I actually can't feel where they are now. So this is such a fine comb. And it is grabbing every single lash and making it very, very easy for me to apply the mascara. They're not sticking together, even though I'm wiggling the wand around a little bit to get more product on the lash. So that is one coat. Just missed those inner lashes a little bit. Let me just pop a bit more on those. One coat. I think that's decent, but remember what my lashes looked like anyway. Should we do a quick test on what this looks like with an uncurled lash, just to see whether it is all about the lash prep or whether this mascara is worth its weight in gold? Let's have a look. So this is supposed to lift the lashes anyway. Okay, now this is actually quite something. So you can use the back of the applicator to really get the product on the lashes, and then you use the side comb of the applicator to separate all the lashes back out again. I am loving this mascara. And this is a first opened mascara, so usually it's better on day 3 or 4, and this is day 1, and I am already loving this. So I didn't actually like the original Telescopic mascara, the one in the gold tube from L'Oreal. I bought that probably about a year ago and I was not impressed at all. And there was a lot of hype surrounding that mascara as well, but I much prefer this. I mean, seriously, this is a good mascara. So I still prefer the lashes that I curled prior to applying the mascara, but I mean, the other side looks pretty decent as well. I'm a little bit blown away by this mascara. I really, really like that. That is superb. Moving on to yet again another Revolution product. These are the multi-use balms. I've picked these up in a couple of shades. I've got the shade Natural Nude, which I believe is an all-over face balm. It intrigues me, but I am slightly nervous and concerned by that. Not quite sure I'm going to like it, but I will give it a go in another video. The shade that I'm going to be wearing in this video is the shade Peach Bliss. This is right up my street. Look at the colour of this. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm hoping it's going to be more subtle and not have too much vibrancy to it. You get a lot of product in this tub. Let me just see how much you get. 1.12 ounces or 32 grams worth of product, which is a lot for the amount that I paid. So I'm really hoping that I love this and it's not going to go to waste in my drawer. I do think these are supposed to be dupes for the Jones Road Miracle Balm. I'm not going to be able to give you my opinion on that because I've never tried anything from Jones Road before. If you think I'm going to like them, do let me know and I will be happy to try them out for everybody. But it's just one of those brands that I've never really been interested in. But I'm happy to take one for the team if you want me to try some of the stuff. Let's get some of this on. Again, I don't know what brush to use. Maybe I'll use the same brush that I did for the bronzer just to try this out. So this is my REPHR 17 brush. Just taking off the excess product on the warmth of the palm of my hand. And then just gonna dip straight into this and dab it on the back of my hand. Okay, this is luminous. This is a dewy. Oh, it smells nice though. Again, a little bit like bug spray. Oh, that's so nice. I like bug spray, can you tell? That is not an insult for me. It's zesty. Very lemony. Oh, it's beautiful. Really is lovely. Let's just go in. Oh, look at that. It's a little bit sticky. So, yeah, it's not one of those creamy balms that sinks into the skin immediately. I can feel it tacky on the surface. So not too keen on that. I love the sheen that it gives me on the surface of the skin, but this is more sheen than pigment, which I think I just said that I would want out of this, and now I'm backtracking a bit because, yeah, I think I would want more pigment than sheen now because that's a whole lot of sheen. Yeah, that's luminous, and with that luminosity, it's the stickiness. Oh, well, we'll do the other side anyway, but yeah, it's incredibly sticky. Am I applying too much? Let me just remove all the product from the brush and try and spread this out a little bit. Oh, hello, Ralph. Do you want to come and say hi? Oh. So everybody say hi to Ralph. Hey, Ralphie. Hi, baby. Okay. Oh, big yawn. So this is a really pretty product, and in the right setting, I think I would love this. But the stickiness is really putting me off, and I've left it now just to play with Ralph for a bit because I just can't help myself for at least 5 to 10 minutes, and it hasn't sank into the skin. It's still sitting on the surface and there is still that sticky residue on the surface. So this is a definite no-go for me at the moment. I will keep on trying it and let you know if I change my mind in that pinned comment. It does look nice, but it's taken away that blurred edge that my foundation gave my skin, and now you can see every single pore. Let's see if we can rectify that though with the next product. So this is again from Revolution, and it's the 2-in-1 loose and pressed powder. It's quite a chunky container, but for good reason. So in the lid you have, gosh, this is difficult. Hang on. Am I gonna need a knife? Oh, there we go. Whew. Oh, Popeye, eat your heart out. Look at the strength on this girl. Okay, so in the top you have a pressed powder and a mirror. And then in the bottom, much easier to open, more my style, you have a loose powder. So I'm going to use the loose powder at first. This has still got the plastic covering on it, proving that I have not used this yet. The only issue that I have with this packaging is I usually like to dispense a little bit of the powder into the lid and then swirl my brush in the lid, and yet there isn't a proper flat lid. There's lots of divots and crevices in this lid, so it would be slightly difficult. I'm sure I could manage it, but I'm just going to give this a little bit of a shake and dispense some of the powder within the actual tub itself, which is relatively easy. Just be careful though, because I've just spilt loads of powder down my mirror. I'm such a clumsy thing at the minute. So I'm just applying some to my brush, tapping off the excess. Okay, let's do this side of my face. Okay, that has definitely taken away the shine, and it doesn't feel heavy. Wow. Now, if you're wanting to mattify, if you're wanting to give that soft focus look. This is definitely a powder that does that. So this is the side with no powder, with powder. And it really doesn't look like I've got powder on. And I was thinking that this wasn't going to be a triumph because it is pure white. I was expecting there to be like a sherbet coating on my skin, but there isn't, and I'm hardly applying any. Okay, let's try the pressed powder, and I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to try this underneath my eyes. Honestly, this is the most difficult thing to get in. Oh, I need more spinach. I'm just going to smooth out my concealer. It hasn't actually creased, so there's nothing to smooth out. But I do feel like that orangeness is starting to poke through again, and I'm not quite sure why. I cannot wait for tomorrow when I can try this concealer out with none of the colour corrector underneath. So on this side of my face, I'm going to apply the pressed powder, just a light dusting with a brush. That isn't bad. That's not as dry as I thought it would make my under eye look. Let's try it on a powder puff, which is how I would usually apply a pressed powder. I'm constantly using this puff with my Pat McGrath, taking off the excess on the back of my hand. I'm nervous. Okay. Okay. Do you know that's not too shabby? It's not as blurring as the Pat McGrath, but it's half the price and you get two. Just see how it goes, adding a little bit more. Usually I wouldn't apply masses of powder underneath my eyes, but it's not made my eyes look really crinkly underneath, which I am surprised about. So I'm just going to take the excess powder that's on the brush and a little bit that's on my mirror and dust it over the side of my face that I didn't do. I am impressed with that for now. I am holding my thoughts there because a lot can happen in the next few hours. So definitely check out the pinned comment at the top of the comment section to hear my thoughts of how this wore, whether it made my skin dry, how long it airbrushed my skin for, because that will matter. But at the moment, I'm impressed. So even though I have powder on both sides of my face now, I can still feel a slight tackiness and stickiness coming through from the multi-use balm from Revolution. And since I've actually mattified that slightly, there's not as much sheen on the surface of the skin. I don't think there's as much pigmentation either. So that's a bit of a shame because I do love a blush and at the moment it looks like I don't have any on. Not so keen on that one, but I do have one more product to try out and it's from NYX. And it has the most horrible name. I don't know why anybody would name it this. It's the Lip Drip Fat Oil, which makes me think of a fish and chip shop rather than a brand of cosmetics. Doesn't fill me with joy, but we're gonna try it. So I have swatched all of the shades. I actually bought 2 of these shades myself when I was in Superdrug the other day, and then the whole selection came in PR a couple of days ago, so I've swatched them all on my arm for you. And from left to right, we have the Clear, Missed Call, Follow Back, Supermodel, Newsfeed, Scroll In, Status Update, and That's Chic. So I really like the look of Follow Back. I'm just going to line my lips and I'll be right back to get some of this on. So this is the NYX Lip Drip Fat Oil. Let's have a look at the applicator. It's a little bit tight to get the applicator out of the tub, but a very nice big applicator, really juicy applicator. It's nice. Tastes like raspberries. It feels nice. It's not sticky, it's not too thick. It is like an oil, but not a loose oil, more of a thicker oil. That's really pleasant, feels really nice. It's got a lovely shine to it. This one does have a bit of a sparkle to it as well. Some of the others don't have a sparkle, so if you are put off by lip products with a bit of sparkle in, there are some in the collection that might suit you a little bit better, but I'm not opposed to a bit of sparkle on my lips. I think it just adds to that voluminous look. I really like that. I love the colour as well. And the taste, I could lick this off all day. I've got a feeling I'll go through this quite quickly because I'll be constantly reapplying. So that's the finished look for today. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I like a lot of these products. They're perfectly nice, but very few of them have blown me away beyond belief to the point where they have to feature in a drugstore better than high-end video. They're not quite up there, but they're nice. I am really excited to try the mascara again tomorrow. I just thought that was beautiful. The formula is rich and creamy and yet not too thick. The applicator is amazing with multi-sides, so you can really get that product on the lashes, and then the comb makes sure everything is separated so you get volume, but you also get length and no clumpiness. I love everything about it at this moment in time. So that has really pleasantly surprised me. I also really like, and please don't take this as gospel because I've only had this product on my skin for an hour, so there's plenty of time for my mind to change, but I really still like the NYX Bear With Me blurring foundation. I think that looks really beautiful on my skin, and I'm also looking forward to trying the IRL Filter Finish concealer again tomorrow, as well as the Revolution powder. I thought that was really good. Again, didn't blow me away, but it's a nice powder. The proper no-goes for me, not really keen on the Revolution multi-use balm. It was sticky, and as soon as I applied a powder over the top of it, I lost all of the pigmentation. I look like I don't have any blush on, which has really ruined it for me and has ruined the overall look. As far as I'm concerned, you know I'm a blush girl. But also, I'm not overly keen on the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer, which has surprised me slightly because I love the Luminous Putty blushes. I really wanted to like this, but again, as soon as I've put a bit of powder over the top, the pigment sort of disappeared a little bit. I will try both of them again on other days and let you know how I get on, but at the moment I'm slightly underwhelmed. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.